Welcome back, everyone. We're diving headfirst into the crazy U.S. housing market today.
Yeah, buckle up.
We've got tons of research and articles to unpack.
And things are
Well, let's just say it's definitely not boring out there,
not boring at all, no.
especially for first-time buyers.
Oh, especially for them, yeah.
I mean, those mortgage rates are a real punch in the gut, right?
They're tough.
But on the flip side, there are pockets of strength, especially for those looking to move up.
It's a real mixed bag, this market.
So we'll unpack all the wild trends,
The good, the bad, the ugly.
the solutions, or at least potential solutions. We want to help you navigate this roller coaster with a little more confidence, or at least some knowledge, right?
Exactly.
All right, let's start with the elephant in the room.
Mortgage rates.
Mortgage rates. They're still hovering around, what, like 6.8% for a 30-year fixed?
That's about right, yeah.
I mean, that's got to be impacting affordability in a big way.
Oh, absolutely.
But I did read that some builders are getting creative,
Oh, yeah.
offering buy downs.
You're talking about those things that bring the rate down to, what, like 5% sometimes?
Exactly. Okay, I got to ask, how does that even work?
Well, think of it this way. The builder basically prepays a chunk of the interest.
To the lender.
Yeah, upfront.
Okay.
And that upfront payment basically gives the buyer lower monthly payments, usually for like the first few years.
Oh, so that's how they get that lower rate.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like a temporary
It's
boost
just- yeah.
to make those homes a little more, I don't know, palatable
Palatable. Yeah, exactly.
with these crazy high rates.
Yeah, it's a way to attract buyers.
But there's got to be a catch.
Well, the lower rate doesn't last forever, that's for sure.
Right.
After that initial period.
The honeymoon phase?
Right, after the honeymoon phase, the rate typically adjusts back up to whatever the market rate is at that time.
So buyers really need to look at the long game, huh?
Oh, absolutely. The long-term affordability.
Not just that tempting low rate for a couple years.
Yeah, it's like a stepping stone, not like a magic solution.
Okay, interesting.
It's a strategy,
Yeah, it is.
for sure.
It sounds like builders are really having to think outside the box these days.
Yeah, they're trying to adjust.
Okay, so we talked about first-time buyers struggling, but then we hear about the move-up market.
Yeah,
It seems like it's actually doing pretty well, even with these high rates.
right.
What's going on there?
So, a couple of things.
Okay.
First of all, the economy, it's still relatively strong.
Okay.
And a lot of homeowners have built up equity in their current homes.
Makes sense.
So they've got more wiggle room.
More financial flexibility.
Exactly.
So they're not feeling the squeeze as much
Not quite as much, no.
as those first-time buyers.
Right, they've got more options.
Okay.
And then there's this pent-up demand.
Oh, like people who have been waiting to upgrade.
Yeah, they've been kind of sitting on the sidelines, waiting for the right time.
Waiting for things to settle down, maybe.
Right. And
Yeah.
now they're thinking, okay, let's do this.
Especially with, I read this somewhere, that existing home inventories are up.
Yeah, by about 20-25%.
So more choices out there.
Right, which usually means more transactions.
Supply and demand.
Basic economics.
But it really highlights the challenges for those first-time buyers, right?
Oh, yeah, it's a completely different story for them.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a sec.
Do it.
The entry-level housing crisis.
It's a real concern.
Big time.
Starter homes are hard to come by these days.
It's tough out there.
They're scarce, and when you do find them,
Pricey.
oh, yeah.
So my question is, why aren't we building more starter homes?
Well, it's complicated.
Okay.
More than just supply and demand.
There's got to be more to the story.
There is.
So what's going on?
One thing is, and this might surprise you, a lot of municipal land use policies.
Okay.
They actually incentivize development in, get this, rural areas.
So we're building homes where people aren't necessarily clamoring to live.
Often, yeah.
Okay.
And it's tough on both ends.
In what way?
Well, it's harder for tradespeople to work on those projects when they're so far out.
Right.
And it's not exactly appealing for buyers who want to be, close to work, close to the action.
Near the city centers.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
So it's kind of a
lose-lose.
yeah,
And then you add on top of that,
the not in my backyard phenomenon.
oh, NMBism.
That's the one.
Classic.
It can be a real roadblock,
For sure.
especially for affordable housing projects.
People want affordable housing, but,
Not in their backyard.
right, it's that whole thing.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
So have you seen any examples of how cities are trying to address this?
Yeah, some cities are trying to come up with solutions.
Okay.
Like, think about Seattle
Okay.
or Denver.
Okay, yeah.
They've been experimenting with smaller solutions,
Yes.
like accessory dwelling units
Okay.
or easing multifamily housing restrictions in some zones.
They're trying to increase density
Right.
in a smart way.
Yeah, but progress is slow. It's tough to get everyone on board.
Community resistance is real.
Oh, it is.
But, I mean, we got to find that balance somehow, right?
We do.
Between the need for more housing
Yeah.
and preserving existing communities.
It's a balancing act for sure.
But it doesn't stop there.
It doesn't.
We've got another layer to this whole thing.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
It's what they call economic misalignments.
Oh, that's a fun one.
So can you break that down for us?
It's kind of counterintuitive, but stick with me.
Okay, I'm listening.
The Fed, they've been cutting interest rates.
Oh.
But mortgage rates, they've stayed high.
Wait, hold on.
It's weird, right?
That doesn't seem to track.
It's confusing, I know.
Like, why wouldn't mortgage rates follow suit?
Okay, so think of the bond market like this big auction.
Okay, yeah.
And interest rates are set based on, inflation, global economic events, all sorts of things.
Okay.
Even though the Fed's cutting rates, these other things can keep bond yields high.
Man, bond yields affect mortgage rates.
Correct.
Okay, so it's more complicated than just...
It's a web.
Yeah.
A tangled web.
And this creates uncertainty.
Oh, yeah, for everyone.
Buyers, builders...
Agents, everyone.
Trying to predict the future of rates.
Impossible, practically.
Okay, so we've got affordability challenges for first-time buyers.
Check.
A move-up market that's surprisingly strong.
Check.
Land use policies that aren't really helping.
Yeah.
Community resistance.
Yeah.
And economic misalignments.
Check, check, check.
It's a lot to unpack, but this is just the beginning.
Buckle up.
We'll be back with part 2.
We'll dive deeper.
And explore some potential solutions, so stay tuned.
All right, so where were we?
We were talking about solutions.
Right, solutions.
To make housing more affordable.
Especially on that local level.
Yeah, because it's easy to get lost in the national stuff.
Right.
But ultimately it's happening.
City by city.
Neighborhood by neighborhood.
Exactly.
So what are some of the things that communities can actually do to make housing, more accessible for everyone?
Well, one big thing
Yeah.
is taking a look at zoning.
Oh, zoning laws.
Zoning regulations, yeah.
Those are a big deal.
They are because...
It's basically a set of rules, right, that dictates what type of building can go where.
Okay.
And a lot of times, the rules favor these big single-family homes.
On huge lots.
Sprawling lots, yeah.
Okay.
And that limits the development of...
More affordable housing.
Yeah, more diverse options, too.
So it's like those zoning laws are stuck in, like, the 1950s or something.
It's true. They haven't really caught up to how people live today. Right. Back then, it was all about the big suburban house with a yard.
The American dream.
Yeah, but today, it's different.
It is.
Families are smaller. More people are living alone.
We've got a growing senior population.
Right. So we need housing that reflects all that.
We need options.
So it's not about eliminating single-family homes. It's about...
having a mix.
Right, a wider range.
Like imagine
Okay.
duplexes, townhouses, maybe even some of the smaller ADU.
Right, the accessory dwelling units.
Exactly, all mixed in with single-family homes.
So you've got options for different stages of life, different budgets.
That's the idea.
And that kind of leads into another thing, right?
Yeah, what's that?
Streamlining the whole permitting process.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've heard it can take forever to get through all the red tape.
Oh, okay.
Months,
I know,
even years sometimes.
It's crazy.
To get all the permits and approvals for new construction.
It adds cost and delays for sure.
And that makes it even harder to build affordable housing.
Absolutely.
So if we could simplify that process,
Make it more efficient.
maybe use technology to make it more transparent.
That would help a lot.
But this all hinges on community buy-in, right?
Oh, for sure.
Because we talked about that earlier.
NMBism.
Yeah, that resistance to new development.
Because people worry about their neighborhoods changing.
So how do you get people on board?
I think it starts with education.
Okay.
Helping people understand the benefits.
Of having more diverse and affordable housing?
It's not just about helping low-income families.
It's about creating a stronger community.
Everyone.
So what are some of those benefits for the community as a whole?
Well, think about it. When people can afford to live closer to work,
Okay.
less time in traffic,
Shorter commutes?
more time for families, more community involvement,
Makes sense.
and it attracts a more diverse workforce.
Which benefits businesses, the local economy,
Exactly.
and it creates a sense of belonging.
Yeah, a stronger community overall.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about local solutions.
Right.
But I'm curious about national trends.
Oh, yeah. What are you seeing out there?
Well, one thing I've noticed
Okay.
is this shift towards smaller homes,
Interesting.
more sustainable homes.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Like people are moving away from the McMansion era.
They want quality over quantity.
Exactly. And they want homes that are
Energy efficient.
Right,
That's
well-designed.
shimmel spaces.
It's partly driven by millennials, right?
Oh, absolutely.
The biggest generation.
They're entering the housing market with different values.
Long-term priority.
They're not their parents.
No, they're not.
And they're delaying homeownership longer, too.
Yeah, they're saddled with student loan debt.
They're facing a different economic reality.
So builders have to adapt
To a new generation of buyers.
with different needs, different expectations.
Totally.
So we're probably going to see fewer McMansions going up
I think so.
and more of these smaller, more sustainable options.
That makes sense.
And along with that, I'm seeing this trend towards
Urban living.
urban living, yeah.
People want to be near the action.
Near amenities, entertainment, jobs,
Walkable neighborhoods.
and then you've got the whole remote work thing.
Oh, yeah. Technology is changing the game.
Giving people more flexibility in where they live.
Blurring the lines between work and home.
So it's exciting to see how housing is evolving, right?
It is.
To reflect all these changes.
Social changes, technological changes.
But let's talk about technology in the housing market itself,
Oh, that's a whole other conversation.
because it's impacting everything
It is.
from how we buy and sell homes.
To how we live in them.
Right. I mean, think about how much more transparent things are now.
It's a game changer.
Because in the past, buying or selling a home was such a mystery,
You would have to rely on agents for information.
and you never knew if you were getting the full story.
Right. It was a lot of trust involved.
But now
You've got websites like Zillow, Redefine,
you can find out anything you want.
about properties, neighborhoods, market trends.
It's right there at your fingertips.
It empowers buyers and sellers.
It levels the playing field.
Exactly.
And then there's the technology inside the homes themselves.
Smart home technology.
Yeah, it's becoming mainstream.
It's the future.
From smart thermostats that, learn your preferences.
To security systems you can control with your phone,
It's changing how we interact with our homes.
making them more comfortable, more efficient.
More secure.
Absolutely.
And these features are becoming major selling points.
Oh, yeah, a house with the latest tech.
It's more desirable.
Higher value.
It's amazing how technology is shaping not just how we live in our homes.
But how we value them.
It's crazy.
It is.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Affordability challenges,
Yep.
local solutions.
The impact of technology.
It's a lot to process.
But it's all connected.
And we're not done yet.
We're just getting started
We'll be back with part 3.
to wrap it all up.
So stay tuned. Okay, so we've talked about buy-downs and zoning and all this other stuff.
A lot of information.
It really is.
A lot to digest.
So with everything we've covered,
Yeah,
what's the one thing?
the one takeaway.
Yeah, what's the one thing you really want our listeners to walk away understanding?
I think it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the housing market.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it's this giant, uncontrollable force.
Right, like you're at its mercy.
Exactly. But
Right.
we're not powerless.
Okay.
Knowledge is power, right?
Every time.
The more we understand how this complex system works,
Yeah.
the better decisions we can make.
So it's not about just giving in.
No, it's about being informed,
Right. Taking control.
becoming an active participant.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
But even with all the knowledge we've tried to share today,
It's true.
it's an ongoing conversation, right?
Absolutely.
This market is constantly changing.
Always evolving.
So what's true today might not be true tomorrow.
It's a moving target.
So how do we stay informed?
Well, there are a lot of resources out there.
Like what?
Start with those reputable real estate websites,
Okay.
industry publications,
Yeah, those can be helpful.
and don't underestimate those local community organizations.
Okay.
They really have a good sense of what's happening on the ground.
Right, in their specific areas.
Exactly.
And I always tell people,
Yeah.
don't be afraid to reach out to the experts.
Oh, absolutely.
Talk to real estate agents, mortgage brokers,
Financial advisors.
get some personalized guidance.
You can make a big difference.
Okay, so as we wrap up,
Yeah.
any final thoughts you want to leave our listeners with?
I think it's important to remember the human element of all of this.
Okay.
You know, stay connected to your community.
Well, that's a good one.
Attend those local meetings, talk to your neighbors.
Get involved.
Yeah, because the housing market isn't just about data and trends.
Right, it's about people.
People and the places we call home.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, it's time to wrap up our deep dive into the housing market.
It's been a journey,
It has.
but hopefully
a fun one.
an informative one at least.
We hope you learned something.
And that you're feeling a little more equipped to navigate this crazy market.
So keep learning
Keep exploring.
and keep the conversation going.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.
Bye, everyone.